Like, share, subscribe. Shouts out to the Lions Den community. And don't y'all forget to subscribe to the podcast show. Link will be pinned in the top of the chat.
Just name the channel who could bang with us. I'll prove that you are smoking dust. GGD Media is top notch in this game, y'all. You failures only have yourself to blame, y'all. Cricket TV and a weapons make you suckers cry. Why don't you close your channel, crawl into a hole and die? Shout out to those who love our movement, no, we'll never flop until you get your mouth on LGBT. We are the underground outfit, y'all. We built this whole thing by ourselves, no in y'all. Independence start with self-preservation. If you can't take care of self, then how can you build a nation, y'all? Yup, we got that merch for the ladies and yes, we even got that merch for the babies and we got appliances and everything that you will need. We got some banging songs that make anemic haters bleed.
All right, you guys, press 1 if y'all can hear me in the comments, man. Let me get a mic check. 1, 2, 1. Y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me? All right, man. We locked in? All right, man. Like, share, subscribe. Salute to everybody that's in this stream. You understand what I'm saying? Appreciate all y'all for tapping on in. And, man, we got to get into it, man. I was sitting back here doing some thinking, man. And I'm going to tell y'all something, man. On your screen, to the left, is the second biggest mistake that Sean Diddy Combs ever made. And I'm going to tell y'all why. The first mistake he made, we've already went over that. That was Cassie. That was not selling with Cassie. That's the first biggest mistake. Actually, he shouldn't even never did this stuff, period. You know. But not paying Cassie was the first biggest mistake. Because Cassie opened the floodgates. Second biggest mistake is on your screen. He should have paid Lil Rod $50,000. Is what he really owed Lil Rod, from what I've been reading. $50,000 for work Lil Rod did on, I guess it was one of his recent albums. You know, let me tell y'all something, man. I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. All right? Lil Rod has over 100 files of evidence that he's entered in his case. Let me repeat myself again. Lil Rod has over 100. Forget that the judge says, oh, we're going to drop some of these claims. The key part is he won because some of his claims kept going and the case goes to discovery, which means that all the evidence he have will be released in court in front of a judge to see if this goes to trial. And Lil Rod, and this is how you know people didn't read the lawsuit, because you have some people that just don't have no type of common sense thinking. They want to be celebrities so bad. They come on here and say anything and cap for celebrities. Mad because they're not a celebrity. They wish they were. They really a part of the go along, get along game. They act like they ain't, but they really are. And I'm talking about one guy in specific. And I ain't talking about Kwame Brown either. Shout out to the brother Kwame Brown. This guy's got 100 files. 100 files of evidence, video, photos. And if you read his lawsuit and you saw the pictures He put in those lawsuits, and the judge also said, now this is where it gets worse, because now the judge has forced him to make a decision whether or not he's going to drag Cuba Gooding Jr. and and Justin Combs into this whole situation. He's got to present a letter to the judge within 2 weeks. His lawyer, Tyrone Blackburn, says, oh man, we can't wait till we get to discovery. It's fitting to be, man. And if you saw just some of the evidence that he put in that lawsuit as far as photos, go read his lawsuit. A lot of people not even reading the paperwork. They just talking on YouTube. They're not reading. They're not looking at the evidence he's already filed in. Go look at it. Right? Cuba Gooding Jr. has already had a situation going on in the past. Now, he might have to deal with this. Then Justin Combs gets dragged in. Then, the word is that Lil Rod is one of the cooperating witnesses in the federal case. And all that evidence he had that he's entering into his criminal case, I want to bet you that the feds have seen a lot of his evidence that he has, video footage that he claims he has, that he's entered into evidence. In this case, look it up. See, people don't read information. People just come on here and freestyle it and jockstrap sniff because they don't have any types of real journalism to them to really dig into it. Let me read this paperwork to see what's in this files. They just come on YouTube talking and doing fake videos about the beef, the truth behind the beef between this and that. And they ain't do nothing but read what somebody else said online and came on YouTube and act like they figured it all out. Nah, that ain't how it works. You got to do real research. You got to do real journalism. You got to do real homework. If you go look at Rodney's lawsuit, you will see alone the evidence, the photos that he put in that lawsuit. Forget the videos, because you can't even attach the videos. And he's already said he's going to present video evidence. See, that's the part people skip over and forgot. Diddy, the second biggest mistake he ever made was not paying this guy. Because forget 15, 20 years ago, this is recently stuff that this guy has. His claims are recent. And he also claims, as I said, that he has that video evidence of many things. Go back through Rod's lawsuit. Let's look over one time real quick and look at some of the claims that he made against Diddy. Right? You have to really lock in. You understand what I'm saying? And understand what this dude put out there. Now, Law and Crime, they broke this thing down to perfection. Perfection. But some people didn't even look at that versus even reading the lawsuit for themselves. Because if you read that lawsuit for yourself, man, it is treacherous. It is treacherous. And I'm going to tell you guys something. You guys had better, and I'm going to say this again, right? You had better, right? And I'm telling y'all, put close attention to what I'm saying to y'all was Rodney Jones. Again, allegations. I want y'all to listen to this. Listen.
Rodney Jones also known as the producer Lil Rod, is breaking his silence for the first time since filing a scathing civil lawsuit against now disgraced rapper Diddy. This comes on the heels of Diddy's team wanting that very lawsuit thrown out, filing a lengthy motion to do just that. But is it enough? And what's up with that federal investigation against him? The feds raided his homes almost 6 months ago. Where's the arrest warrant? Okay, so before we tackle all that, because there's a lot going on, we first have to mention the initial lawsuit against Diddy, who, by the way, goes by multiple names. P. Diddy, Puppy, Puff Daddy, all the above. But his legal name is Sean Combs, and today I'm going to call him Diddy. So in November 2023, there was a bombshell lawsuit filed against Diddy by his ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, who you probably know as the singer Cassie. This lawsuit was groundbreaking because it was the first time we heard any of the shocking allegations against Diddy. Cassie's lawsuit claimed Diddy physically abused her during their relationship and manipulated her, forcing her to take drugs and even forcing her to sleep with prostitutes. In one of the quickest resolutions I've seen, this lawsuit was actually settled outside of court just one day after it was filed. But it was too late. The damage was already done. A slew of other lawsuits then followed, many of them under the New York Survivor Act. That's the same ruling that allowed Cassie to file her suit. It stated that survivors could file civil suit against their alleged perpetrators for a 1-year time frame. And during this time, the statute of limitations didn't matter. Several other Diddy accusers used this to their benefit, filing civil suit for allegations dating back to the 90s and early 2000s. If you're familiar with Diddy's case, you probably recognize the names Joy Dickerson-Neal, Liza Gardner, and Jane Doe. Joy Dickerson-Neal alleges that Diddy assaulted her back in the 90s when she was a college student in New York. She says Diddy even recorded video of the assault and then passed it around to other people. Liza Gardner says she was also assaulted by Diddy in the early 90s in New York, and that Diddy later choked her to the point that she lost consciousness. As for Jane Doe, she says Diddy assaulted her when she was just 17 years old back in 2003. She says he flew her out to a recording studio in New York before sexually assaulting her. Jane Doe even includes some pictures in her lawsuit proving that she was in fact at Diddy's studio. These lawsuits all made some major news, and we even reported on them. But it was this next lawsuit, the one filed by Rodney Jones, that really caused a stir. Jones is also known as Lil Rod, who worked as a producer on Diddy's Love album. His civil suit against Diddy and some other high-profile names spans nearly 100 pages and includes pictures of what he calls some serious illegal activity. That's things like gun trafficking, drug trafficking, and racketeering, which Lil Rod alleges Diddy is responsible for. In fact, he says Diddy is the ringleader of this major scheme. According to the suit, Diddy himself sexually assaulted Lil Rod and forced him to have sex with a prostitute. These allegations made major news, and what followed made even more headlines: the federal raids on 2 of Diddy's homes in both Los Angeles and Miami. Those raids happened way back in March, and since then, even more civil suits have been filed against Diddy, and some also filed against his son. So that brings the grand total of lawsuits against Diddy to 9. One of those, as we mentioned, was settled outside of court. That was Cassie's lawsuit. But now Diddy is hoping to have another one thrown out, and that's Lil Rod's suit. Just this week, Lil Rod spoke out for the first time since that lawsuit was filed in an interview with Rolling Stone. He commented on Diddy saying, quote, "He's a monster. He'll do whatever is necessary to get exactly what he wants. He doesn't take no for an answer. He told me himself, I'll smack my mama. Anybody who can say that even jokingly is a monster. He's nothing to be played with." Lil Rod continued saying, quote, "For a person whose brand is Love Records and changed their name to Love and named their kid Love, he doesn't show love. He's just marketing." Lil Rod says he received major backlash since filing this lawsuit, saying, quote, "It's killing me. Here I am standing up for justice and for what I believe is right for my life, and I'm being punished." This interview was published just one day after Diddy's team motioned to dismiss the very suit. Diddy's team lays out their argument over more than a dozen pages. So let's jump.
Now, let me stop that right there. Y'all smash the like button as y'all come in. So this is why Diddy took a major loss. You got people, and I'm not even gonna say nothing. You got people who don't have any kind of thought that's running around here saying, "Hey man, Diddy got a big win." How did he get a win when he tried to get the entire case dismissed and the case is moving forward? That's bad. The case is moving forward. Only some parts of the case got thrown out. But the case is moving forward. It's going forward. And that is a complete nightmare for Sean Diddy Combs. Complete nightmare. And this is why. Let's keep going.
Write it with legal analyst and trial attorney Dina Saig-Dahl. So, Dina, the reason I wanted to talk to you today is about this new motion filed by Diddy's team. It's 33 pages, kind of long, going through and saying, here's why Lil Rod's lawsuit should be thrown out. So just from the start, taking a look at it, do you think they make a good argument?
The thing about the motion to dismiss is it is a very preliminary way to get a lawsuit kicked out of court. It almost always fails because it's not that hard to overcome a motion to dismiss. The purpose of it is essentially is that people shouldn't have frivolous lawsuits against them. You want them to have like enough facts to back them up, to be connected to a law, that if you're going to take somebody to court and make them pay all those legal fees, that there is a decent, actual factual allegation that in connection to law. So that's really the stage this lawsuit is at. Like, did Ronnie Jones give enough facts? Was he specific enough in his lawsuit that they are actually connected to the laws that he's alleging here in this lawsuit? So he tries. So Diddy tries to make that.
These goddamn ads. Let me skip past this ad. Hold on, because I don't want y'all to miss this. Y'all not finna miss this.
That he's being too vague, he's not being specific enough. But it's very hard at this point to completely kick somebody out, because on the flip side, you don't want a frivolous lawsuit, but on the flip side, people should be able to have their day in court. And if he win this motion to dismiss, it would completely give Ronnie Jones a right to have his day in court. So that's what the court balances here on a motion to dismiss. Are there enough facts so this is not a frivolous lawsuit? But on the other hand, if he does give enough, but maybe not enough to win in court, so to speak, but enough to show that more facts are going to be coming. This is a long road. Lawsuits are long roads. He should be able to have his day in court. And that's what the judge is going to look at when he's looking at both the complaint and the motion to dismiss.
To quote Diddy's motion, Lil Rod's lawsuit includes countless tall tales, shameless celebrity name drops, and irrelevant images. Yet despite all its hyperbole and lurid theatrics, the SAC, that's the second amended complaint, fails to state a single viable claim against any of the Combs defendants. And as you can expect, Diddy's legal team lays them out point by point. So let's start at the top. The first one they were talking about is the RICO enterprise that is alleged. Basically, they're saying that these allegations of RICO or racketeering don't really hold up. And this one's interesting to me because oftentimes we see this as a criminal charge, racketeering, or for instance,
Now, let me stop right there. That one got thrown out because they're saying Diddy has not been found guilty of that yet. I understand the court on that one, because if Diddy has not been found guilty in the court of law, you can't really say these things, or you can't really come across with these things. As far as I understand what the court is trying to say in that situation, but I disagree with the court based off the fact that Ronnie Jones came with so many pictures, so many videos, so much evidence that it haven't even went to the discovery stage. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the part I don't like about the system, because if you allow something to go to a discovery stage, I believe that it should be, show your evidence first. When you come, you show your evidence, and then I decide what parts you're going to be able to keep to go forward and what parts we're not going to keep, if at all. That's how I feel like it should go down. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't feel like, and I'm telling y'all something. Diddy, bro, the shit that Lil Rod got, all of them goddamn files, photos, videos that they're getting ready to present as evidence, man. Now, see, I want y'all to understand how a dude's going to come on social media and online and argue down video footage. How they going to argue that down? Pastor, what's going on, man? Salute. How they going to argue down video footage? You're not going to be able to argue down video footage. This dude obviously had a disgusting fantasy with video and all this stuff. 20 TBs of video footage in the actual criminal case. Then you got video footage. You understand what I'm saying? In Lil Rod's situation, which probably had been already passed to the feds.
People are always alarmed when the federal government, whether it's the FBI or some other Department of Justice entity, comes snooping around, because it's kind of a slippery slope.
We know P. Diddy is in hot water, from the federal raids on 2 of his homes to dozens of accusations, ranging from sex trafficking and rape to...
Let me get this right to where I want y'all to hear this part. Right here.
If the sex workers were plying their trade, or they were just there in the studio.
If you are in the clothing business, then I recommend...
Hold on.
And you download the Alibaba.com app. The Alibaba.com app.
And Lil Rod says he has proof.
And I can imagine that if you had a room that had many people in it and nefarious things are going on, people are going to have their phones out.
Plus, there was the accusation that Lil Rod never got paid for his work on Diddy's Love album, but that the sex workers did.
If there are some people who've done some things wrong and in some way are related to Diddy and his group, they're nervous right now.
Let's get the basics out of the way before we take a deep dive into the nitty-gritty of those newly released court docs. During the last week of March, federal investigators raided the homes belonging to 54-year-old Sean Combs. He's better known as the rapper, label exec, and entrepreneur P. Diddy, or Puffy, or Puff Daddy. He goes by a lot of different names, but whatever you call him, we know for sure that 2 of his homes were investigated by Homeland Security after the execution of a search warrant. No criminal charges have been filed against Diddy. I asked criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Matt Mangino about this. But what do you think, Matt? Do you think it's only a matter of time before he faces federal charges?
Well, Diddy is facing a lot of different things from a lot of different venues, so to speak. So you have civil lawsuits that have been filed. In fact, you have one civil lawsuit that was actually settled. But you have a number of these cases swirling around that are talking about sex trafficking, that are talking about rape, talking about sexual abuse. So those issues are out there. And then, of course, you have the federal government, Homeland Security, going to his homes in Los Angeles, in Miami. Normally, in order to get the...
I want y'all to remember something. Remember when they went and raided Diddy's homes? I never forgot this. They said that they did not warn anyone. It was a surprise. They didn't tip anybody off that they were going to raid Diddy's homes, because they said that Diddy was so powerful as far as his flex that they could not risk a leak tipping Diddy off to that raid. They didn't tell anybody in their department who they were going to raid. Think about that. Then you have all these other allegations coming up of Diddy and other cases. Other lawsuits that we've talked about on this channel the last couple of days. Think about what I said now. Go back and read that. The people who did the raid, they didn't even tell them who the target was, who they were raiding, because that's how powerful they said that Diddy was. That's why I think this all caught Diddy by such a surprise. That's why they have witnesses who want to testify under aliases, anonymously, because they don't want to put their names on a situation and risk their lives because there's so many powerful people out here. These are the reason why, and that's the reason why I think the judge is going to allow them to give testimony under aliases, or under a Jane Doe or John Doe status. Remember that. It's all going to come back. It's all going to come back. Remember when I told you guys this now? It's all going to come back. Remember what I told y'all? Remember what I told y'all?
There's no time constraints. There's no speedy trial rule in a civil case. Those cases could take years, and you could negotiate the whole time trying to settle it as well.
But it was a lawsuit in February that really laid everything out, listing Diddy and big music conglomerates as defendants. It's a 74-page lawsuit brought on by Rodney Jones, also known as Lil Rod. His civil suit lays out many bombshells, including more allegations of sexual assault, forced sex with prostitutes, gun trafficking, illicit drug use, sex with underage girls, and that there's allegedly record of much of this activity. Lil Rod's lawsuit straight up says he has, quote, hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Mr. Combs, his staff, and his guests engaging in some serious illegal activity.
There it is right there. But like I said, are you going to listen to the blind? It's going to be like a blind leading the blind on YouTube. Rodney Jones is going to have a field day in court with his evidence. This man, let me repeat that again with what he put in the lawsuit. The evidence that he is now going to enter into the discovery phase. When they actually see what evidence you have for your claims, that's what they call discovery for. Diddy is done. He should have settled this lawsuit. This is the second biggest mistake he made outside of Cassie. The two people that are going to destroy Diddy from the root is Cassie and Lil Rod. Everything else is icing on the cake as far as all the other people that's going to come in now and have allegations against Diddy and, you know, be in court testifying against him. But the two biggest was Cassie and Lil Rod. Listen again. And this is how I tell y'all know people don't be reading the paperwork. They just come on YouTube talking. They not reading the paperwork. They are a part of the go along, get along game. The same thing they masquerade as if they're not a part of. The same thing they come out here and use other people who are really fighting a good fight to try to put themselves in a different light when they really just want to be a part of the celebrity stuff themselves. They get exposed. You see it right here in front of the whole world. And this is why nobody wants to hear that foolishness no more. People want to hear the truth. So the truth is always going to shine. And when people see through you and they see what type of person you really are, well, that will explain why they want nothing else to do with whatever content you're putting out. Listen to what they said again.
Lil Rod's lawsuit straight up says he has, quote, hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Mr. Combs.
Hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Diddy allegedly doing illegal things. All of this probably could have been prevented. They paid Rodney Jones. But when you're an egomaniac, right? When you are submerged with this way of living, to where you have been so used to acting like you are God. Nah, man. Nah. Not gonna work this time. Puff.
Lil Rod's lawsuit straight up says he has, quote, hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Mr. Combs, his staff, and his guests engaging in some serious illegal activity because Diddy apparently required Lil Rod to record him constantly. Several pictures are included in that original lawsuit, including pics of Lil Rod allegedly in bed with a prostitute, the aftermath of a shooting that Diddy allegedly covered up, and other high...
Now, I saw that picture, and I told y'all I could not put that picture on YouTube when I did that review of Rodney Jones' lawsuit. That picture, it was stuff everywhere on that floor. It looked like an absolute, I can't even say it on YouTube. I can't even say it on YouTube. But Rodney Jones put that graphic picture in the lawsuit. I saw it. He had numerous photos compromising that he put in that lawsuit. I saw it. I saw it. And now that this case is moving to discovery, where he gets to present his evidence. Oh my God, bro. This is the worst. I'm telling y'all, Diddy. And the thing is, Diddy has to fight this now. He can't settle with Rodney Jones. Because if he settles with Rodney Jones, he cannot do a rerun of what he did with Cassie. Can't do it. That is the reason why he hadn't settled any more lawsuits. Because he felt like, in my opinion, he made the mistake by settling with Cassie. Because now here comes the flood of everybody else coming in because they saw a weakness. And they said, oh, okay, you're not as strong as you say you were. Cassie stood up to you when everybody was afraid for years. Think about this stuff I'm telling y'all now. Y'all need to think about what I'm saying. Think about this. If you did not read that lawsuit, smash the like button, share, and subscribe. If you did not read that lawsuit, you did not see the evidence he placed in that lawsuit, there's nothing else to talk about.
Profile names that Diddy allegedly groomed Lil Rod for. All that brings us to the latest court docs filed by Lil Rod's attorney just this week. And with these new filings, we get more pictures and proof of recordings. Here, the lawsuit shows a screenshot of a video taken on September 30th, 2022. According to the suit, it shows inside Chalice Recording Studio, where Justin Combs, Diddy's son, allegedly solicited a sex worker. Additional
videos. He put the screenshots of the videos in the lawsuit. He videoed it and kept the videos. Kept the videos. Right? Right? Kept the videos. I want y'all to think about that. He kept the videos and put the screenshots in the lawsuit. That's why I told y'all, these dudes on YouTube that's just talking, they ain't read the paperwork, nigga. They just talking. They just talking. Because now the judge said, if you're going to bring Justin Combs in this, if you're going to bring Cuba Gooding Jr. in this, you got 2 weeks. I'm looking at the screenshot. In fact, I wanted to put it on the screen.
Just this week. And with these new filings, we get more pictures and proof of recordings. Here, the lawsuit shows a screenshot.
Now, right? Now, right? He shows video screenshots of alleged sex workers inside the studios. Video. He has the video evidence, is what he claims. Listen.
Brings us to the latest court docs filed by Lil Rod's attorney just this week. And with these new filings, we get more pictures and proof of recordings. Here, the lawsuit shows a screenshot of a video taken on September 30th, 2022. According to the suit, it shows inside Chalice Recording Studio, where Justin Combs, Diddy's son, allegedly solicited a sex worker. Additional screenshots show a similar scene on September 5th.
Now he showed the screenshots to the videos with the sex workers, alleged sex workers, in the studio. To the videos.
15th, 2022. Also inside Chalice recording studio where Justin Combs again allegedly solicited a sex worker. Matt says these photos
El lado oscuro del TDAH en los hombres.
Now, stop right there. You have to look, and I'm not going to put that on YouTube because, as I said, and I'm going to say it again, you don't know how YouTube's going to, I didn't do that on the YouTube Act. I'm going to do it on my podcast where I can put the whole pictures of that lawsuit up there. This dude put screenshot pictures of the video footage he have. He recorded that shit. See how these dudes cap and get around actual video recordings when he enters this shit into discovery phase that's coming up now. See how he get around that. That's what we really gonna see. How he get around that. How do these buffoons, let's just keep going.
recording studio where Justin Combs again allegedly solicited a sex worker. Matt says these photos definitely bring up some good questions.
Well, I guess, Sarah, it would matter if the sex workers were plying their trade or they were just there in the studio, observing what goes on. I mean, sex workers, they don't work 24 hours a day. So they have a job and they have other things that they do. So yeah, if you have a photograph with a sex worker and she's completely clothed and you're smiling at the camera, I don't think that's an issue. Now, if you have photographs of people engaging in sex in the studio,
and he's telling you those were screenshots of videos, old man. So those aren't the actual photos. Those are screenshots of video footage he has.
I think there you have a problem.
So as of right now, we only have screenshots of photos. There's allegedly videos. So is it possible that there is video recording of people engaging in sex with these sex workers? Is that something that could potentially come out during discovery?
Hey, we know everything gets taped now. I mean, case after case that we examine, you have cell phone tapes, you have surveillance video, you have doorbells. I mean, we don't know, what's being taped and what's not being taped in the society that we live in today. And I can imagine if you had a room that had many people in it and nefarious things are going on, people are going to have their phones out unless they have a phone box at the door and everybody has to drop their phone in it before they come in. Who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised if there is videotape of some of these incidents.
According to these new court docs, Lil Rod, quote, personally saw executives from the defendant record label present at the recording sessions during the times that sex workers were present. The defendant recording studio that Lil Rod refers to could be a few possibilities. Listed as defendants in the suit are Diddy, his son, and a few of his associates, but also Chalice Recording Studios, Love Records, Motown Records, Universal Music Group, and two top execs, Ethiopia Habtemariam, the former CEO of Motown, and Lucian Charles Grange, the current CEO of UMG. The original suit was filed on February 26th, but on March 29th, Ethiopia was dropped as a defendant. She released a statement saying, quote, being falsely accused of criminal conduct is deeply upsetting to me. I did no wrong. I never saw or participated in any alleged racketeering enterprise, and I never saw, aided, or abetted or tried to conceal any sex trafficking activity. In short, there's no basis for any of the claims asserted against me, and I should never have been named a defendant in this lawsuit. Lil Rod's newest filing actually mentions this Two, he says that on March 4th, defendants sent Lil Rod's team an angry letter, quote, accusing plaintiff of lying and fabricating the claims in the FAC. That's the first amended complaint. So Lil Rod says he considered this new information and Ethiopia's declaration, and she was dropped from the suit a few weeks later. But other record labels and a different CEO are still listed. So why would they drop one CEO and leave the other?
Well, that's an interesting question, but there must have been something that was brought to the plaintiff's attention or their legal counsel that, hey, this defendant you have listed is not an appropriate defendant. They're in no way involved in this. Maybe it's a timing thing when you look at the sort of the timeline on this case. That it's impossible that she could have been involved or could have condoned any of this activity. So sometimes plaintiffs are faced with the possibility that, hey, this is wrong. She doesn't fit into this picture that you're trying to paint, but you're leaving her in there. You could have problems yourself, for going forward with a case like that. The other defendants, again, I would be surprised if we don't see some effort to get them removed from this suit. But if they stay in the case, discovery is going to be an interesting process.
Lil Rod's latest filing goes on to say that dropping Ethiopia's name from the civil suit was, quote, not good enough for the defendants as they are desperate to distance themselves from defendant Sean Combs. And that could be defendants like UMG or its CEO. For instance, Lucian Charles Grange, he's still listed as a defendant. His name hasn't been dropped. But if his team is working to drop his name, what would they do in order to get that to happen?
Well, there are certain things that you can do pre-trial, like a preliminary objection. Say, hey, this person should not be included in this case. You don't have subject matter jurisdiction over him because he had no relationship to anything that happened to the plaintiff in this case, Rodney Jones. You want to argue those issues. The other thing then, if that doesn't work, is you can ask for a summary judgment and say, I want the court to declare me as the winner in this lawsuit, me individually, because they haven't proven anything against me, or they haven't made any specific allegation against me that would make me liable in this case. So there's different stages where that issue could come up. I'm sure those issues are going to be vigorously fought over as this case proceeds.
That leads us to another allegation that UMG and other defendants don't have the receipts. And according to Lil Rod's team, they gave the defendants a major heads up that they'd be asking for this info. Lil Rod alleges that the defendants are desperately relying on his lack of access to these documents to justify dismissing the case. He's actually asking for a lot of information from them. So things like tax filings, phone records, wire transfers. All these things appropriate that he's asking for? Would they just have to hand them over as part of a civil suit?
Well, they may be appropriate, but I think the first question is going to be, are these defendants appropriate? So I'm sure there's going to be some challenge by these named defendants with regard to whether or not they should be sued or not. But, discovery, if these defendants, whether it's Universal or some of the officers of Universal, or Motown, are left in the case, so they remain as defendants. Discovery is very broad. Okay, so you can ask for a lot of different information. You can ask a lot of questions at a deposition, some that would normally be objectionable during a trial. But if you can show that your questions might lead to relevant or admissible evidence, they still have to answer those questions. Now, that deposition may never make it into court or any part of it. Some of it may, but that's a very broad spectrum. When you say, hey, my question, you can object to it, but you have to answer it because it might lead me to admissible or relevant evidence.
Then there's Lil Rod's exclusive recording agreement, or ERA. This dates back to May 4th, 2022, when Lil Rod signed on to work with Diddy. In Lil Rod's filing this week, his team included all 63 pages of that contract. Much of it has been redacted. He alleges the defendants intentionally redacted essential sections of the ERA to hide the details of how they agreed to share profits, losses, ownership of the partnership assets, liability to creditors, compensation for the defendants, and loans to the organization. Lil Rod says UMG turned a blind eye to Diddy's illegal activity, saying Diddy had access to at least $1.3 million worth of so-called free money. But Matt says it's not up to UMG to keep track of what Diddy spends his money on.
Well, that would be extreme. If we think about our own lives, what if you picked up your paycheck, this Friday, and the company said, hey, what are you going to spend this money on? What are you going to do? Where are you going tonight? Where's this money going? I mean, that's unrealistic. Your employer, even if it is large sums of money, if you've earned that money, I mean, you can do it with what you want. Now, of course, if you're doing illegal things with it, well, you're putting yourself in jeopardy. I don't think anybody would necessarily say that if an employee committed a crime with their paycheck, that their employer is responsible for it. Now, that's kind of simplifying it. We're not really looking at exactly what the allegations are. I think a much better argument, if they have one at all, would be that these people were somehow involved in this conduct directly, at parties or meetings or gatherings, or they knew what was going on at these meetings and gatherings and didn't do anything about it, almost like it was on company time. Then you might be able to make a connection. But saying you pay somebody and they use their money for illegal activity is a reach for an employer.
Lil Rod is bold enough to say that UMG and other labels are partners in the, quote, Combs Rico enterprise. Lil Rod says the CEO of Universal Music Group exerted some control over the Combs Rico enterprise and recklessly disregarded the existence of sex trafficking. That's a pretty big allegation to put on the CEO of Universal Music Group. What do you make of that?
Now, see, these are the things, and this is what I'm telling y'all. Rodney saying that's the type of stuff that they're going to have to look out for in the criminal case. Now, I'm not saying, UMG is guilty of this, guilty of that. I don't know. I haven't seen any of that evidence that, has been, or is going to be used in the criminal case. But the fact that Lil Rod Jones is saying that, now it makes you open your eyes up even more. You understand what I'm saying? And say, oh, man, what do they really have? Because, see, I'm going to tell y'all something, man. In that criminal case, I'm telling y'all, bro, people already probably got picked up, arrested, bailed out, and been out on bail. Whether on ankle monitor, all this other stuff, cooperating witnesses that are going to testify against Diddy. Everybody keeps saying, hey, man, where's all these other people? In the RICO, where they at? Man, I believe Diddy had everybody turn against him. I truly believe it. I believe most of damn near everybody laid down. When the feds came, they said, nah, I can't do the years. And I believe what's going to happen is that they're going to get sentenced in the end. I believe that after their testimony, that they're going to get sentenced and they're going to get light sentences, whatever they get, due to their cooperation. But I believe this stuff was done under secrecy. I believe people were already went and picked up under secrecy. That's what I believe. Think about this. If that boy who got caught with Diddy at the plane, if we would have never seen that video, would we have known that he got picked up? The reason why they followed him on that story is because we saw him get picked up and arrested, and we saw his charge get dropped. Walk away, no problem whatsoever. We ain't seen from him since. Disappeared in the thin air. Right? Think about this now. Think about this. Y'all thinking, I'm telling y'all this. Y'all don't think they pick people up, got people on ankle monitors, pick people up, and all under secrecy. I think they knew what they were dealing with here. And I think that they went in deep. Again, it said a lot to me that when they said that they did not tell anybody that they were raiding Diddy's homes because of his power. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. When you don't even tell your own people that y'all going on a mission because you don't want no leaks to get out your own, organization or department. Yeah, man. Somebody got some real power. Somebody got some real power. And that's why I think that Diddy was caught off guard. Because the way they did it. I think that they knew they were dealing with, and I'm going to tell y'all something. I believe, and I'm going to say this to y'all again, I believe Cassie and them gave them the whole thing. I believe Cassie and Lil Rod and these people gave them the whole thing. When you're rolling with somebody every day for years, you learn how they move, you learn what they do, who their connects are, how they operate. You know pretty much everything about their day-to-day life. That's why I keep telling people they don't understand how big this is. You don't think Cassie laid out the whole blueprint for the feds? I'm talking about the whole thing. You don't think that she did that? Everybody doesn't think that Cassie was 1,000% innocent, but even she had to testify, in my opinion, and give testimony to help her situation so she wouldn't be looked at as a defendant in some cases. That's my thoughts. But think about that. All the people that was with Diddy on a day-to-day basis working with him, they know the whole layout. They know everything. Lil Rod was with Diddy every single day. When you with somebody every day, you know how they move it. You know what their weaknesses are. You know how they operate. You know who they're operating with. You're basically giving names. So when people say, oh, I don't think the feds really got that, are y'all crazy? Cassie probably gave them niggas the whole layout of this nigga's mansions. Where everything was at. They probably already knew exactly where to go in Diddy's mansions because Cassie probably told them, okay, this where he got this where he got that. Oh, he got a safe right here. He got this right there. He got that right there. He got that. Oh, look out for this right here. Look out for that right there. Man, they probably sat down with her this whole time, and her and others probably gave them the whole layout. See, when you're Diddy, I think Diddy really did feel a way about Cassie. Meaning, I think in his weird little twisted, demented way, he loved Cassie, but he didn't appreciate Cassie. He didn't respect Cassie. When you do like that, you tend to allow those people to see everything. They see all of your moves. They know everybody that you have under them. They see all the dark sides of you. So now, they're the ones that can bring you down because they're the ones that know you better than everybody else. The ones that be around you every day, that can name names, that can put people in certain places, that can tip the feds to other people that they would never even thought about being on. Don't think Cassie went in there and gave them half the meal. You better believe she gave them a whole goddamn meal. And if they tossed a Lil Rod, which the word is they did, you better believe Lil Rod gave him the whole meal too. And if you think there ain't no more indictments coming against Diddy before this case starts, I believe they're going to hit him with another major indictment before this case starts. Just as a surprise before the case starts. I think that they are leaking that stuff out slowly to let Diddy know Bro, it's nothing you gonna be able to do about this. We got too much shit. And I'm telling y'all this. So when they pop out those witnesses and people that y'all would never thought testify, man, can't nobody on YouTube jockstrap sniffing save Diddy. Right? Can't save him. Telling y'all this. And that's just all there is to it. See, tell y'all something. Lil Rod was the second biggest mistake Diddy ever made. It's not taking care of those close to you. Because when you don't take care of those that's close to you and around you that know everything, and you're Diddy, and this dude got videos. He got footage. He's seen a lot being around you every single day. And you don't pay him? These are the same ones that bring you down. And that's exactly what we have here, ladies and gentlemen. We have a case of Rodney Jones taking Diddy out. Period. Period. This man have hundreds of hours of video footage, they say. Audio footage. Photos. All you gotta do is look at the lawsuit. You see all the photos he put in the lawsuit. So, yeah. Yeah. And then once people get implicated and the feds get enough information on the other people that's on or involved allegedly in this situation, now the feds go to them, and what do they do with these people? They get these people to come testify against you. So now, remember, when we first started this this criminal case, against Diddy, the criminal case, Diddy's lawyer, Mark Anglifo, said, I think they got one victim and 49 witnesses. He thought they had 49 witnesses then. Now you've got 4 victims that we know of. How many witnesses you think they got now? How many witnesses you think they got now? That's all I'm going to say to y'all. How many witnesses you think they've collected now? People they've gotten to flip. Names that you're going to hear that just going to blow your socks off. Right? Think about it. Salute everybody. Like, share, subscribe. Go subscribe to the podcast show. I'll be dropping more content on there in a couple hours. Y'all know what it is. Link will be pinned at the top of the comment section. All right, you guys. So we appreciate everybody that popped in, supported this video. Make sure that you guys shop our merch. We got that new A-Weapons merchandise right there below this video. All you got to do is look below. The links will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well to get the merch, to donate, support the channel, and subscribe to our podcast show. You'll see all those links pinned at the top of the comment section of this video. And we appreciate everybody that supports this channel and our networks. Also, that straight drop weight loss formula. Go to the website. You guys will see that. A link for that will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well. Go right there for all of your weight loss needs. Straight drop weight loss formula. We have a lot of testimonials on the website. You can go to www.str-8-drop.com and get you some of the weight loss formula today. Take your weight loss serious. Get in the gym, work out, exercise, and do what you got to do. Stay on point. We appreciate everybody that's been locked into this video. Again, all the links are pinned at the top of the comment section below. Salute to all of y'all. And again, we appreciate everybody who support what we doing over here.